want to stay on the January 6th topic. We have the story from Newsweek. Biden starts 2022 trailing Trump by average of nearly 5 points in 2024 election polls. Now, I would like you to all enter the worldview of the establishment left. They believe that Donald Trump staged a military coup and failed. They believe that Donald Trump staged an insurrection and failed. They believe that he is currently trying to engage in another coup and another insurrection, the Atlantic writes. Trump's next coup has already begun. January 6th was practice. Donald Trump's GOP is much better positioned to subvert the next election. Combine these stories, and you will start to see a very interesting picture.
Is this the one where it's like, people are running for local precinct chair and stuff?
But look, there's another story that we talked about on the show a few weeks ago where it says the Trump conspiracy is still continuing. If the Atlantic, if these mainstream publications genuinely believe that Trump is actively engaging in the subversion of U.S. democracy, it means that the polls show more Americans favor the insurrection and the coup than the establishment government.
Well, I have a thing on this, and I was kind of joking around on Twitter yesterday, and I said, all of the headlines make sense if you can learn to speak regime-glish. Regime-glish, yeah, I figured you'd like that one. And so if you speak regime-glish, and I lifted this bit from Adrian Vermeule, and I don't usually make it a habit of quoting Harvard professors, but he's kind of like a token good guy, so I'll quote him. And he said, when they say democracy, they really mean liberalism, right? Yeah. So just always substitute the word. Trump is a threat to democracy. Trump is a threat to liberalism. Well, Trump is seeking to subvert democracy. Trump is seeking to subvert liberalism.
You see that, but I don't even think liberalism is the right word because they're a cult. It's just something entirely
different. The liberal
different.
economic order, that thing they started in the 40s.
The liberal order.
Did you see that clip that went viral where they're like the Republicans are a threat to democracy because they might win elections?
Yeah, it's not a coup when you unseat a sitting president through votes and win the election. That's a natural way that it functions. It might seem coup-ish because it's a new guy coming in and unseating the old.
They have, right, in their own mind, they have gone so far into their own, you could use the phrase of the day, mass formation psychosis, where they actually believe that democracy and liberalism are synonymous, that they're the same thing. There can be no other order. And this, of course, is not just a mass formation psychosis thing. This is actually religious belief, right? There can only be one true religion. So if there can only be one true order, then anything that arises that's a threat to that's outside the Overton window of our order must therefore be against all of democracy.
Take a look at this other story we have from Timcast.com. About half of both Republicans and Democrats view the other side as enemies that threaten their entire way of life.
Wow.
So maybe it is true. Maybe most Americans, if an election was held today, would vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. But here's the thing. Those Americans who support Donald Trump don't believe an insurrection happened. These are people who probably read the news, watch the news, saw what's going on, and they're like, that's ridiculous. The narrative isn't true. Because if they truly believed that what Trump did was a military coup, they probably wouldn't support him. But they don't because
a military coup without the military or without any guns.
And a bunch of unarmed people. Most of which were let in through open doors and smiling police.
And this will be, Nancy Pelosi, if you're watching, right? I think I said this on air.
She doesn't know how to use the internet.
Oh, no, yeah. No, but her little acolytes do. The disparity here is that the people inside the media and inside the Democrat Party and inside the January 6th committee say that every single person that showed up on January 6th was anti-Constitution. But if you talk to anybody who was in the crowd on January 6th, right, they probably, every single one of them would have said, no, I am for the Constitution. You're not following the Constitution, and that's why we're here, right? So in their mind, they are the ones fighting against a coup. You get it?
Right.
In a way, it's like the easiest solution because neither one of them intend to stage a coup. They both think the other one's doing what they're doing, or the other one thinks that they're doing what they think the other one's doing. And but
that's one's objectively wrong.
Yeah, so how do you unwind that?
Here's what I think when I see this. I think this is mostly a product of the incoming generation and polarization from the previous generation. So I don't think we're seeing this hyperpolarization just because people are reading social media and becoming polarized. I think it's that younger people who are more radicalized by the previous generation. Or I think a fair way to put it is when you look at the Pew graph, conservatives have barely moved to the right at all. The left has gone far left. You have corporate America and liberal parents in big cities pushing this heavy indoctrination. I mean, my whole childhood growing up, it was just endless leftist, talking points. So these people grow up living in this world, which is far left. They weren't converted to the far left. They have developed in a far left mindset.
Yes.
So as time goes on, it is the new generations that are polarized against each other. What I mean to say is 2 millennials, one who is far left and one who is conservative, weren't like previously friends who read a news article and then went, I now disagree with you. Oh no, why are we enemies? These are people who grew up in entirely different realities and cannot see the other side. Now, it is true. It is the rule on the right. The right does read left-wing publications and does follow left-wing individuals. And it is the rule on the left that they don't. We've gone through the graphs. We've pulled up many left personalities. They don't read right-wing news. So you have the left that is in a collective, in an echo chamber, and the right, which looks at both. They're not going to get along.
I've also said, though, that this one of the biggest problems on of conservatives, or up until now, is that conservatives will pathologically deny and reject the notion that pop culture and Hollywood have any effect on society. They say, oh no, those are just movies, that's not real, don't worry about that. Whereas, as you just said, there's an inundation of left-wing talking points out there, and a lot of that is coming through Hollywood, whether that be TV, movies, in some cases video games now, where it's coming in. And whereas if you're on the right, you're like, oh, well, no, we can just separate that out. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. And I think the new right is at least finally trying to get that software upgrade and understanding, no, wait, we actually have to do something about this. But it's amazing because I will tweet something about this and say, hey, I think this TV show or this movie or whatever it is had a bunch of influence in this direction. And I will get conservatives saying, oh, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. You can't talk about this. But what did Barack Obama do when he was in office? He would go on late night shows. He would go on comedy. He would do all this stuff. Yep. He would appear, in things. And people would say, and people on the right would just laugh. And they would attack it and they say it was stupid. He would go on YouTube and people would attack him. And meanwhile, on the left, they're like, oh, I like this guy. This guy's cool.
And this is the mistake that the media made with Trump. When Trump had his well-done steak with ketchup, he had a 30-day dry-aged steak, and he ordered it well done with ketchup.
Yes.
And the media mocked him for it. But that made him more relatable to middle America.
Well, just really quickly, this is why I think Barack Obama, after he left office, started to work with Netflix with an exclusive deal.
100%.
And I would even go further than you, Jack. I wouldn't say it's talking points. I would say it's covert, subliminal messaging that, of course, is put onto people through the forms of entertainment. It's not entertainment. It's propaganda. And it's fomented in a way where it's not... I don't think it's leftist ideologies. I believe the entire left has been taken over by a corporate establishment that is using them as a conduit to push their agenda, to make people weaker, to make people dumber, to make people more needy for centralization, which of course is going to be granted and given to them through the multinational corporations. So I think, I wouldn't even describe these as leftist ideas, but more of corporatist ideas, with them really calling the shots here from my perspective.
Is it just fascism? Like when
That's
big corporations and government colluding with each other?
Yeah, it's a new kind of digital fascism.
I mean, that's literal fascism.
But also now with the latest psychological tricks, they could get in our brain in ways that they never could before, especially with, again, social media, especially with how we interact with them and all the information we give them. They have data sets that dictators would have wished to have that will, again, help them conquer the general public, because we're literally giving them everything about us. And when they know everything, they could weaponize that and use it against us.
So have you guys seen Don't Look Up yet?
No, yes. Of course.
You've seen it. So
I thought it was great.
One thing, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the social commentary, and people were lighting me up for saying that I like this, because everybody gets skewered in it. But one thing that I don't think people realized very well is the primary antagonist, the main villain of the movie, is a tech oligarch, transhumanist, globalist
/ Bill Gates.
It's like Bill Gates,
and Hillary Clinton.
Elon Musk, and a Hillary type.
No. It shows a picture of the president hugging Bill Clinton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's irrelevant to the scene. When we were watching, Luke's like, look,
Clinton. And it's like a half a second.
In the middle of the conversation.
I didn't even notice that. I totally didn't notice that.
Yeah, in the middle of the conversation.
My kids were running around.
It just jumps to a picture of the president hugging Bill Clinton for no reason. Huh. And I'm like, I get it. At the very least.
So this, I think, is this one of the first times that we've seen that a tech oligarch has been portrayed as the villain in a movie?
Kingsman,
would be one. The Circle. I think would be another one, which like nobody has seen,
yeah.
even though it was Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. They totally memory hold that one because it was
I didn't
too
think
true.
I saw it. I barely remember it.
I loved it. I thought
Yeah,
it was
really?
fantastic. I thought it was fantastic. But one of the key things in Don't Look Up and that one is that all of what Luke was just talking about, they have all your data. And the way this is played out in Don't Look Up, and I thought it was funny. He was like, I can actually predict how you're going to die down to 96.6 percentage. And I looked up your algorithm when you left. The one thing I remember is you'll die alone.
Yeah.
And there's also that Amazon,
Which I'm not going to spoil it, but
and he's
actually
bossing the
it
president
was
around.
it was wrong. That guy, if you remember the ending, actually
Right.
his prediction was
Spoiler.
wrong.
Good.
I know, a little bit of a spoiler.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.